Hey everybody, welcome back! So reading the Sealed Nectar, and I'm still thinking about the funny line about no eyes of anybody shall be comforted by viewing you. It's so funny. Okay, we're on page 461, okay? And on the paragraph titled The Combat. The two parties approached very close to each other. The phases of fight started. The first fighter was the standard bearer, Talha bin Abi Talha al-Abdari. He was one of the bravest men among the Quraysh fighters. Oh, he was a Quraysh fighter. The Muslims nicknamed him the Ram of the battalion. He came forth riding a camel and challenged the Muslims to a duel. Everyone refrained from fighting him due to his bravery, but as Zubair bin al-Awam advanced for the fight, he did not give the Ram any chances to fight, but fell on him like a lion on a camel's back. Oh, that's a cool example. It's brutal. Pulled him down to the ground and slaughtered him with his sword. Dave, it's embarrassing if you get yanked off your camel, like, it's just like, whoops, you should. Allah's messenger, peace be upon him, who was watching that wonderful incident, exclaimed, Allahu Akbar, i.e., Allah is the greatest. And the Muslims exclaimed, Allahu Akbar too. He praised Az-Zubair as he said, every prophet has a disciple, and my disciple is Az-Zubair. Hey, that's a compliment. Nice. Now it says, the fighting that centered around the standard bearer. Soon the battle started, and the fight of the two parties grew fierce everywhere on the battlefield. The strain of the fight was centered around the carriers of the standard. After the death of their leader, Talha bin Abi Talha, Banu Abdud Dar alternated the missions successively. Talha's brother Uthman ran forward and seized the standard which lay by the lifeless body of his brother, chanting, the standard bearer has the right to dye its shaft in blood, till it be beaten in his hand. Hamza bin Abdul Muttalib attacked and dealt him a blow that cut his arm and shoulder and went down to his navel to uncover his lung. Wow, that means like, okay, attack from the cut him from the shoulder, went down to the navel, and then oh, that is a very apt description. The standard was raised up again by Abu Sa'ad bin Abi Talha, but Asim bin Thabit bin Abdul Aqla struck him, killing him. His brother Kilab bin Talha bin Abi Talha followed him, picked up the banner and raised it, but Az-Zubair bin al-Awam attacked him and managed to kill him. Their brother Al-Jalas bin Talha bin Abi Talha lifted the banner up, but Talha bin Ubaidullah stabbed him to death. I like how the narrator is like very concise. He stabbed him to death. They also said that it was Asim bin Thabit who managed to deal a terminal blow to him. All those 5 people who were killed around and in defense of the standard belonged to one house. The house of Abi Talha Abdullah bin Uthman bin Ubdar. Dang, but that means like, who's gonna carry on the lineage then? Another man from Bani Ubduddar called Arat bin Sharbil carried the standard, but he was also killed by Ali bin Abi Talib. Some said it was Hamza who killed him, not Ali. Then it was Shuraya bin Kariz who was killed by Kuzman. He was a hypocrite who fought for prestige only, not in defense of Islam. Abu Zayd Amr bin Abd Manaf al-Abdari took the standard, but he was killed by Kuzman too. A son of Sharhibil bin Hashim al-Abdari hoisted it again and was also killed by Kuzman. So we see that 10 fighters of Bani Abdud Dar, the standard bearers, were killed, seeing that none of them, Abdud Dar, survived to carry the standard. An Abyssinian slave of theirs, called Sawab, came to raise it. The slave showed more admirable sorts of bravery and firmness than his former masters. Oh. He was an Abyssinian slave, and he came to raise it. Sawab went on fighting till his hand was cut off. Oof, oof. So he knelt down and embraced the banner, leant it against his chest and neck lest it should fall to the ground. Man, if you were picking up, that's dedication right there. You done lost your hand, right? You bleeding, you're in pain, you're freaking out, but you still have the dedication to carry out the mission. He remained fighting steadily until he was killed. In the meanwhile, he did not stop saying, "O Allah, have I been excused?" After the death of the slave Sawab, the standard fell down to the ground and remained there was no one to carry it. A slave holding it down. The other clashes. While the force of the battle centered around the standard, bitter fighting was going on everywhere on the battlefield. The spirit of faith overwhelmed the Muslim ranks, so they rushed among the idolaters as if they had been on an outbreak of destructive flood that overflowed and knocked down all dams and barriers standing in its way. "I seek death, I seek death." That was their announced motto on the day of Uhud. Ooh, imagine if you're hearing an army and they're chanting that, you're just like, that can send a little psychological wave of energy to your opponent. Just wow. Abu Dujana, recognized by the red band worn round his head, came forth, fighting with the sword of Allah's messenger, peace be upon him. He was, oh yeah, we gotta remember he has the red band. Okay. He was determined to fulfill its due at all costs. He killed all the idolaters that stood in his way, splitting and dispersing their ranks. As Zubair bin al-Awwam said, "I was upset when Allah's messenger, peace be upon him, refused to give me the sword, but gave it to Abu Dujana. I said to myself, I am his maternal cousin, the son of his aunt Safiya, a Qurayshite. Besides, I was the first who demanded it, and yet he favored him to me. By Allah, I will watch how he behaves with it." So I followed him. I saw him take out his red band and wrap it around his head. Seeing him like that, the helper said, "Abu Dujana has worn the band of death." Then he set out, saying loudly, "I am the one whom my intimate friend made a covenant with when we were under the palm trees on the mountain side. The covenant that we made was that I should not fight at the rear, but fight at the front heroically with the sword of Allah and His Messenger. No one stood in the way of Abu Dujana, but he was killed. There was a man among the idolaters whose only objective was to finish off the wounded Muslims." Oh yeah, the one who goes around when there's somebody crawling and they go around and they stick them as they, oh yeah. During the fight, Abu Dujana drew near that man. So I prayed to Allah that they might engage in fight. They in fact did, and exchanged 2 sword strokes. The idolater struck Abu Dujana, but he escaped it and pierced into his leather shield. The idolater's sword now stuck to it. Oh no, that's crazy. Abu Dujana struck him with the sword and killed him. Oh, I see. So he gets stuck and then he counter-strikes. Into the thick of the battle, he rushed to kill a person who was inciting the enemy to fight the Muslims. Upon this, the person shrieked, and lo, it was a woman. Abu Dujana spared her, saying, "I respect the Prophet's sword too much to use it on a woman." The woman was Hint bint Utbah. Describing the same incident, Az-Zubair bin al-Awwam said, "I saw Abu Dujana raising a sword directly over Hind bin Utbah's head. Then he moved it. I said to myself, Allah and His Messenger know best, i.e., know why he acted like that." Hamza bin Abdul Muttalib displayed wonderful acts of bravery against the overwhelming odds which stood unparalleled, and created worry and confusion in the disbelieving army. Heroes dispersed off his way as if they had been tree leaves blown away by strong wind. In addition to his effective contribution to the destruction of the idolaters who stood in defense of the standard, he was even of much greater effect at fighting against men of bravery and distinguished horsemen. It was Allah's will that he be murdered when he was at the top. He was not killed in a face-to-face fight on the battlefield, in the normal way by which heroes die, but rather stealthily assassinated, as was the custom of killing generous and noble men that were impossible to kill in an honorable face-to-face fight. The assassin route. Crazy. Very cool. Someone should do some art of the red band. You don't have to put the face, but you could do the art of the outline. That'd be very cool, historically speaking, for a museum.